Hiya folks, welcome to another one of our video reviews. Another Firewire review this time. Another brand new board, and this is the Lost Firewire collaboration. This is a mini driver, inspired by Chloe Andino and Matt Paulus from Lost. And basically they've come up with a board that's far more versatile than they kind of set out to make. It might be a bit deceptive this is the 6.4, so this is relatively long compared to the 5.10 models we've got coming in as well. So this is a little bit chunky through the rail, got a bit more foam running through the centre of the board than the 5.10, 5.11, 6 foot etc. we have. But we're going to talk about the outline of the board, the plan shape and the reason why they built it, which is going to be the same through all the sizes. Standard FST construction, so you've got your parabolic stringer through the board, all the way around, rail to rail. That's going to give the board that kind of explosive energy through the turn. It's going to keep its spring. It's going to allow the board to accelerate out of bottom turns, accelerate out of cutbacks as well. So you can load the rails up much as you would do with a standard stringed board. The difference being that kind of spring you get from a new board, it will actually die over time, and the Firewires will keep that going. Plus the fact you've got epoxy top deck, they're far stronger, they're going to outlast a standard PU board by years and years. So an all round good package to start off with. So the mini driver, you've got a boxy rail, as I said, in the 6.4. It's going to be less boxy when you go down to the smaller boards, although they do maintain volume through the central section of the board. You've also got quite a dome to the deck as well, so the rails are fairly well curved over. That's maintaining volume through the centre of the board. This was primarily designed to be a good board for away, for barrel riding, etc. It's supposed to have a lot of controls at high speed, hence the tail shape, being a nice round tail. And that's probably the best feature of this board, the constant curve all the way around, no flat spots. For the average intermediate surfer who wants like a first time short board, in the bigger lengths this would be perfect. A nice constant curve, nothing to hang you up, nice and easy to cut back, nice and easy to perfect the bottom turns, top turns, etc. Just a really nice, well balanced board with that constant curve and a nice forgiving tail that's going to give you lots of hold when the surf's a bit bigger as well. Basically that tail shape is going to give you plenty of control. If you're a more advanced surfer and you're riding hollower, faster, bigger waves, it's going to give you the control you need. But interestingly enough, come a foot or so in from the tail, the board does maintain quite a bit of volume. I'll just spin it around, so I sit through the fins. Decent width through the fins here, so when the surf's a bit smaller, a bit more average, you've still got the width. So when you're pushing through the tail, you've still got the momentum and the drive. And then obviously you've got the option to step further back to get the nose out and so whip turns around a bit more. But essentially, because they've maintained a bit of volume through here, it's going to do two things. It's going to let the more advanced surfers plant the back foot over the rail line and the inside fin and drive through big barrels, but it's also going to let the intermediate surfer ride with the back foot more centrally here and have enough driving speed to maintain down the line speed and to keep your speed through cutbacks and other more basic turns. So it really is an interesting board. It's going to cover a lot of bases, a lot of different surfers. Perfect size range 2 to 6 foot. For a more advanced surfer you might want to push it more than 6 foot, but as I said, with the width from the tail, 6 foot will probably be it. You can be maxing it somewhat. 5 fin option, quite rare in a board such as this, so it really is keeping your options open. A lot of people will probably ride this as a thruster, but you have got the quad fin option, 5 fin if you want to try it. And lastly, very subtle concave, kind of starting pretty much through the Mayhem logo there, quite hard to see but nice and flat, keeping the board fast, and then a bit of scoop out through the fins. It's mini spine just through there, so that's just going to help control and drive and speed as the waters pass through the fins. And then something I really love on the Firewires with the epoxy boards, razor sharp rail edges through the tail. Fairly soft and forgiving, which is brilliant for the intermediate surfers and for anyone turning when they're not quite up to speed. So if you're utilising that wide tail on an average day, you've got a nice soft forgiving rail that's going to allow you to complete those turns when you're not quite up to speed. Come back towards the fins, sharpens up, and through the tail, razor sharp. That's going to give you a real good hold and bite. If there's a bit of chop, a bit of wind chop or lumpy conditions, it's going to help cut the board through that, keep your rail engaged, keep the fins engaged and allow you to complete those turns. So a very versatile board, thoroughly recommended from 5.10 upwards, and just bear in mind that 5.10 is going to have a similar kind of plan shape, but not quite as chunky through the central section. Up the front, fairly shallow entry rocker with a bit of flip in the nose to help you for the holidays. So overall, a cracking board, highly recommended.